Welcome back. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tiffany. Today I'm sharing a bedroom makeover that I did on our son's room. As always, I like to try to do things affordably, so you'll see what things I did to help save along the way. And ultimately, I am thrilled with the end result. So I'm really excited to share this with you. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Here's a look at the room before. It's not horrible, but it's also not reaching its potential. Everything you see here, we got secondhand, and it's all just a little thrown together and hodgepodge. Some of the pieces were showing a lot of wear. The walls had damage on them. We'd had an issue with these windows, which has since been addressed, but we never got those windowsills back on there. There were some things in here that I did like. I found this in the Goodwill bins and added these letters, and I made this basketball hoop out of some pallet boards. But as you can see here, that rim is bent. Overall, this room just needed some attention, and I was excited to dig in and see what we could do. Online, I'd come across several rooms painted in this color called Storm Cloud. As soon as I started to paint that wall, this color was looking very purple to me, which definitely was not what I was going for. Knowing that paint can look different when it dries, and I'd bought that whole can of paint, I decided to just keep going and trust the process. After letting it dry overnight, I decided that it definitely looked purple in this room. Also, we'd gone with an eggshell finish, but it was reading fairly glossy. With these walls being as damaged as they are, it was just highlighting the imperfections. If you're like me and you have a hard time spending money on those samples, this is your reminder to just do it. It could end up saving you quite a bit in the long run. Here I'm mixing my samples with some white paint. Remember, when you purchase paint, if you like the color but you want it in a lighter shade, you can have them lighten it by a percentage. So doing this gives me a few additional options. Another thing I suggest you do that I obviously didn't do before is paint your samples on a few different walls in the room to see what it would look like in different lighting from different angles. In the end, I settled on the color Whale Gray in a washable matte sheen. Some husbands surprise their wives with flowers. Mine surprised me with some antique white oak flooring. He found a free listing on Facebook Marketplace. Figuring I'd find something to do with it, he arranged to pick it up and brought it home. And I'll show you what I did with this in just a moment. I shared a while back that I started using Foreo's FAQ 202 LED face mask, and today I wanted to give you a little update. I have been so encouraged by the results I'm seeing. I'm seeing fine lines starting to soften, improvement in my skin's texture. I've never been great about sticking to a skincare routine, but not only have those results been motivating, it's super easy to use, it's comfortable, and as a DIYer, I love that it's something I can do myself on my own time in the comfort of my own home. The mask is wireless, lightweight, and made from flexible silicone that molds to your face and delivers even LED coverage. It features 8 different wavelengths, including near infrared, to help with fine lines, dullness, uneven tone, and other visible signs of aging. Another area that I've certainly neglected and have started to notice aging in is my neck and décolleté area. So I recently added Foreo's matching mask for that area to my skincare routine as well. If you're interested in trying the FAQ 202 face mask or neck and décolleté mask or any of their other products, they have been so kind to send along a discount for you guys. If you use the code GEMMER30 at checkout, you can get 30% off almost all Foreo products. This even includes products that are already discounted. Thank you to Foreo for sponsoring today's video. I'll have a link down in the description box along with that discount code so you can go check them out. I first started by removing this molding. Because this had been caulked to help keep it from damaging the walls, I went over it with this knife and set that aside for later use. I made sure that that first board was nice and level. I've done a lot of projects like this with tools that require an air compressor and hoses, but years ago we switched to these battery-powered ones. This makes the job so much easier. I realized pretty quickly into this project that there were a lot of inconsistencies in these boards. Some of them were wider than others, and some of them were quite warped. I decided to just embrace it. We were going for a bit of a rustic look anyway. For marking each cut, I flipped the board upside down. You'll see on the left, the tongue side is down. So on the opposing board, I have the tongue side face up. I then marked where to cut. Once cut, I flipped the other direction and slid it into place. When doing projects like this, keep in mind that there could be plumbing or electrical behind your walls. So to avoid damaging anything, I suggest selecting nails that are the thickness of your board plus the thickness of your drywall. That way, that nail won't be going any deeper than that drywall. And if you're not sure how thick your drywall is, one way you can find out is by removing an outlet cover plate. Another thing I've found to be helpful when marking cuts is to put an X on the side that I'm going to be cutting off. That way I know which side of the line to cut on. As you can see here, some of the boards had some paint on them. I'm assuming from when they painted their trim. I left it because I felt like it just added some additional character. We later replaced this outlet cover with a wooden one. We then took that trim that we'd removed and cut it lengthwise to fit back in the space. My husband also used his track saw to cut off these really thin little wooden strips to create a nice finished edge. In a perfect world, I would have pre-painted this wall a similar color to the wood, but I did not do that. Because some of those boards were warped, I ended up with just a few little gaps where that old paint was showing through. I've had my eye on these Pottery Barn Roman shades, but I had two problems. One, they did not come in a dimension wide enough for these windows, and two, they were not in my budget. So to mimic the look, I cut some scrap wood that we had to length. I had a really hard time finding fabric that was wide enough for this project until I came across this shower curtain. Because this curtain was a fairly thin material, I decided to line it with this blackout fabric. I used those boards that I had pre-cut to mark my width. I then used some iron-on hem tape. When doing this project, you'll want to put a little bit of fabric on each end of the board to cover the wood. Once again, be mindful of the length of your staples. You may be wondering why I didn't just sew this. That probably would have been easier, but A, I don't own a sewing machine, and B, my mom was out of town, so she wasn't available to help guide me through this. And I figure a lot of you may be in a similar situation, so I decided to see if I could do this as a no-sew project. I then went through and carefully pinned things in place. Now, this of course is not going to function as a Roman shade would, but it allowed us to achieve a similar look on a budget. After getting those hung, there were a few spots that I just didn't love how that fabric was hanging, so we cut some PVC pipe to length and I slid those into each section. This is one of those purchases that I put off for a long time. Now that I have it, I use it all the time. I then reinstalled those windowsills and put a fresh coat of paint on. I found this set of nightstands on OfferUp for $75. They were structurally in great condition, but they did have some cosmetic wear. After washing these off and giving them a light sanding, I then mixed up some flat top coat with just a little bit of paint in the color Riviere Pewter. Once that top coat was cured, I then applied a brown finishing wax. I found this dresser on Craigslist for $50. Once again, it wasn't perfect cosmetically, but I didn't want to fully refinish it, so I decided to see what I could do to spruce it up a bit with minimal effort. After cleaning it off, I gave it a light sanding. over it with finishing wax. Here's a look at the before and the after. It's not perfect, but I think it's definitely better. I found this in the Goodwill bins, as well as this. I went out in the garage and found something that I could cut to size to help reinforce the back. I found these brackets on Amazon. We have a lot of that wood left over, so we used some of that, cut to the desired size, glued it together, and turned it into a shelf. You may recall some of these pieces that I've picked up over the years and done little makeovers on. When doing a project like this and decorating on a budget, I of course love to shop secondhand, go down to the Goodwill outlet and see what you can find that will work in the space. The other thing I like to do is take a look around the room that I'm making over and see if there's anything in there that I can list on Craigslist, OfferUp, or Facebook Marketplace that can give you a little spending money to invest in a few key pieces for the space. This rug was the look I wanted. It's washable and it's super soft. section was a little wobbly, so to fix that, I just flipped it over and tightened this. I found this and one matching pillow cover in the Goodwill bins. I also found these in the Goodwill bins, just washed them up and ordered new covers. Because I was only able to find one of those pillow covers, I had my sweet mom help convert this into a lumbar pillow. Here's a look back at the before. And here's how it turned out. With the help of some paint, the Goodwill outlet, the free section on Facebook Marketplace, and some creativity, we were able to do this project on a budget. I'll have everything I can linked for you down in that description box, including the list of Goodwill bins locations and that Foreo LED light mask. If you enjoyed this video, would you please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more budget-friendly home decor. As always, my prayer is that you come away from this this feeling encouraged that you really can create beautiful spaces on a budget. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'll see you next time.